Around the world, each country has a different financial situation. Welcome to Watchzilla. Today, we are giving you the top 10 list of richest countries in Asia as per the latest report of International Monetary Fund. The wealth of a country depends on many factors, including the import and export industry, their debts to other countries, their infrastructure, the availability of natural resources, and the country's population. Asia is a continent with countries at either extreme, as there are some very poor countries and other countries that are some of the richest in the world. The Asian economy is the fastest growing economy in terms of GDP nominal and PPP in the world. The economy comprises of over 4.4 billion people living in the 48 nations of the continent. The wealth of the continent is unequally distributed both within and between the countries of Asia. It would be the fastest, but the economic disparities are a source of major continuing tension in the region. While global economic powers China, Japan, India continue powering through, and Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka have entered the path to long-term growth, regions right next to these countries are in severe need of assistance. Number 10, Saudi Arabia. As of October 2018, the Saudi economy was the largest in the Middle East and the 18th largest in the world. Saudi Arabia also has one of the world's youngest populations. 50% of its 33.4 million people are under 25 years old. The world's second largest religion, Islam, emerged in modern-day Saudi Arabia. The ultra-conservative Wahhabi religious movement within Sunni Islam has been called the predominant feature of Saudi culture, with its global spread largely financed by the oil and gas trade. Saudi Arabia is sometimes called the land of the two holy mosques, in reference to Al-Masjid al-Haram and Al-Masjid an-Nabawi, the two holiest places in Islam. The state's official language is Arabic. The economy of Saudi Arabia is fueled by the enormous revenues from oil reserves. There is an increase in mining for mineral resources, including precious metals, and this is also now contributing to the country's economy. Manufacturing plays a big role in Saudi Arabia's economy, with some of the most important industries including petrochemicals, fertilizers, metal products, cement, and truck assembly. Saudi Arabia has since become the world's second largest oil producer and the world's largest oil exporter, controlling the world's second largest oil reserves and the sixth largest gas reserves. The kingdom is categorized as a World Bank high-income economy with a high Human Development Index and is the only Arab country to be part of the G20 major economies. The state has attracted criticism for a variety of reasons including its role in the Yemeni civil war, sponsorship of the Islamic terrorism, its failure to adopt adequate measures against human trafficking, and its poor human rights record, which has been characterized by the problematic treatment of women, excessive and often extrajudicial use of capital punishment, state-sanctioned racism and anti-Semitism, and its strict interpretation of Sharia law. The kingdom spends 8% of its GDP on the military, which places it as the world's third biggest military spender and the world's largest arms importer from 2015 to 2019, receiving half of all the U.S. arms exports to the Middle East. According to BICC, Saudi Arabia is the 28th most militarized country in the world and enjoys the region's best military equipment qualitatively, after Israel. However, in recent years, there have been continuous calls for halting of arms sales to Saudi Arabia, mainly due to alleged war crimes in Yemen and especially following the death of Jamal Khashoggi. Saudi Arabia is considered a regional and middle power. In addition to the GCC, it is an active and founding member of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, Arab League and OPEC. Number 9, Bahrain. In recent years, Bahrain's economy has been a little turbulent and the country has needed bailing out by its Middle Eastern neighbors. However, it is currently enjoying an economic surge. This is partially due to the moderate growth of the mining and quarrying sectors and slight growth in manufacturing industries. Bahrain developed the first post-oil economy in the Persian Gulf, the result of decades of investing in the banking and tourism sectors. Many of the world's largest financial institutions have a presence in the country's capital. It subsequently has a high Human Development Index and is recognized by the World Bank as a high-income economy. However, the fall in oil prices puts Bahrain at risk of dropping back down the list by 2020. Bahrain is a member of the United Nations, Non-Aligned Movement, Arab League, Organization of Islamic Cooperation and the Gulf Cooperation Council. Number 8, Japan. As of 2019, the country's economy is the third largest national economy in the world, after the United States and China, in terms of nominal GDP and the fourth largest national economy in the world after the United States, China and India in terms of purchasing power parity. Japan relies on its central bank to prop up its economy. Japan is a global leader in the automotive and electronics industries and has made significant contributions to science and technology. The country is the third largest automobile manufacturing nation and is also the biggest electronics goods industry in the world. Japan is one of the most innovative nations in the world and the biggest creditor nation globally. However, the Japan economy also faces considerable threats, the biggest being a steeply falling population. Ranked very high on the Human Development Index, Japan has the world's second highest life expectancy, though it is currently experiencing a decline in population. Culturally, Japan is renowned for its art, cuisine, music, and popular culture, including its prominent animation and video game industries. Number 7, Hong Kong. Hong Kong is an international business, trade, and financial hub, is experiencing economic rise thanks to the opportunities brought by the mainland economy. Originally a sparsely populated area of farming and fishing villages, the territory has become one of the world's most significant financial centers and commercial ports. It is the world's 10th largest exported and 9th largest importer. Hong Kong has a major capitalist service economy characterized by low taxation and free trade, and its currency, the Hong Kong dollar, is the 8th most traded currency in the world. Hong Kong is home to the second highest number of billionaires of any city in the world, the highest number of billionaires of any city in Asia, and the largest concentration of ultra-high net worth individuals of any city in the world. Although the city has one of the highest per capita incomes in the world, severe income inequality exists among its residents. Hong Kong is a highly developed territory and ranks 4th on the UN Human Development Index. It is also increasing in popularity as a tourist destination, which is also giving the country an economic boost. The city has the largest number of skyscrapers of any city in the world, and its residents have some of the highest life expectancies in the world. The dense space led to a developed transportation network, with public transport rates exceeding 90%. Hong Kong is ranked 6th in the Global Financial Centers Index and is ranked 4th in Asia after Tokyo, Shanghai and Singapore. Number 6, United Arab Emirates. The UAE has one of the freest economies in the Middle East, and oil and gas remain two of the most important sectors. The UAE's oil reserves are the 6th largest in the world, while its natural gas reserves are the world's 7th largest. Sheikh Zayed, ruler of Abu Dhabi and the first president of the UAE, oversaw the development of the Emirates and steered oil revenues into healthcare, education and infrastructure. Other industries that play an important role in the economy of this country are real estate and exports. The economy of the United Arab Emirates is the 2nd highest in the Middle East and the 8th highest in the world. The UAE's economy is the most diversified in the Gulf Cooperation Council, while its most populous city of Dubai is an important global city and international aviation and maritime trade hub. Consequently, the country is much less reliant on oil and gas than in previous years and is economically focusing on tourism and business. The government is currently pushing for a boost in entrepreneurship. It has the 2nd largest economy among the GCC member countries after Saudi Arabia in terms of GDP. And ranked as the 26th best nation in the world for doing business based on its economy and regulatory environment. This country has an extremely low unemployment rate of just 1.7%. The UAE government does not levy income tax, although there is a system of corporate tax in place, and value-added tax at 5% was established in 2018. The UAE's rising international profile has led to it being recognized as a regional and middle power. It is a member of the United Nations, the Arab League, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OPEC, the Non-Aligned Movement and the Gulf Cooperation Council. Number 5, Kuwait. One reason that this country's economy is so strong is that it holds approximately 6% of the world's crude oil reserves. It has a high-income economy backed by the world's 6th largest oil reserves. Half of the country's GDP is accounted for by petroleum. Other industries that may have a significant contribution to Kuwait's economy include cement, shipbuilding, food processing, water desalination, and construction materials. The Kuwaiti dinar is the highest valued currency in the world. According to the World Bank, the country has the 19th highest per capita income. Kuwait is home to the largest opera house in the Middle East. The Kuwait National Cultural District is a member of the Global Cultural Districts Network. Number 4, Brunei. It has wealthy economy which is a mixture of foreign and domestic entrepreneurship, government regulation, welfare measures, and village tradition. It has developed wealth from extensive petroleum and natural gas fields. The oil and gas sectors dominate the economy in this country, and it ranks so highly because it has small population. Industry accounts for 71.7% of its country's GDP. Brunei has the second highest human development index among the Southeast Asian nations after Singapore and is classified as a developed country. According to the International Monetary Fund, Brunei is ranked 5th in the world gross domestic product per capita at purchasing power parity. The IMF estimated in 2011 that Brunei was one of 2 countries with a public debt at 0% of the national GDP. Number 3, Singapore. The country has a well-established trade-oriented market economy. Singapore is the 3rd leading financial center in the world and that it plays an important role in international finance and trade. It has been the fastest-growing economy in the world since 2010, and this is predominantly because of its exports and the processing of imported goods. The country's port serves as the 2nd busiest port in the world by cargo tonnage. Important industries in this country include manufacturing, mechanical engineering, electronics, biomedical sciences, and petroleum processing. It is ranked 9th on the UN Human Development Index and has the 7th highest GDP per capita in the world. Singapore is the only country in Asia with a AAA sovereign rating from all major rating agencies. It is also a global hub for education, entertainment, finance, healthcare, human capital, innovation, logistics, manufacturing, technology, tourism, trade, and transport, consistently ranked the most expensive city to live in since 2013 and has been identified as a tax haven. The country promotes innovation and entrepreneurship. The highly conducive scenario in Singapore attracts a large number of global investors. Singapore is placed highly in key social indicators: education, healthcare, quality of life, personal safety and housing, with a home ownership rate of 91%. It is one of the least corrupt and most business-friendly economies in the world. Singaporeans enjoy one of the world's longest life expectancies, fastest internet connection speeds, and one of the lowest infant mortality rates in the world. Singapore is a unitary parliamentary republic with a Westminster system of unicameral parliamentary government. Singapore is widely regarded to have an incorrupt and meritocratic government with a fair judiciary and strong rule of law. While the country practices parliamentary democracy, the government has significant control over politics and society, and the People's Action Party has ruled continuously since independence. One of the 5 founding members of ASEAN, Singapore is also the headquarters of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Secretariat, as well as many international conferences and events. Singapore is also a member of the United Nations, World Trade Organization, East Asia Summit, Non-Aligned Movement and the Commonwealth of Nations. Number 2, Macau. Its economy is based largely in tourism, and other chief economic activities are export-geared textile and garment manufacturing, banking and other financial services. Originally a sparsely populated collection of coastal islands, the territory has become a major resort city and top destination for gambling tourism. Its gambling industry is 7 times larger than that of Las Vegas. Although the city has one of the highest per capita incomes in the world, it has severe income inequality. Its GDP per capita by purchasing power parity is one of the highest in the world and higher than any country in the world in 2014, according to the World Bank. Macau has a very high Human Development Index, although it is only calculated by the Macau government instead of the United Nations. Macau has the 4th highest life expectancy in the world. The territory is highly urbanized, and most development is built on reclaimed land. 2/3 of the total land area is reclaimed from the sea. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Number 1, Qatar. Its economy is based on the export of petroleum and liquefied petroleum gas. Qatar is a World Bank high-income economy, backed by the world's 3rd largest natural gas reserves and oil reserves. It accounts for 70% of the country's government revenue, over 85% of the export earnings, and over 60% of the GDP. Qatar has an immense reserve of oil that can sustain the economy at the current levels for 23 years. Other than gas and oil, some of the most important industries to the economy of Qatar include ammonia, fertilizer, petrochemicals, cement, ship repair, and reinforcing steel. Long-term goals of the country include the diversification of the economy to reduce the dependency on oil, a fast-depleting resource. Qatar is classified by the UN as a country of very high human development, having the highest HDI in the Arab world after UAE and Saudi Arabia. In the 21st century, Qatar emerged as a significant power in the Arab world, both through its globally expanding media group, Al Jazeera Media Network, and reportedly supporting several rebel groups financially during the Arab Spring. For its size, Qatar wields disproportionate influence in the world and has been identified as a middle power. Qatar is currently the subject of a diplomatic and economic embargo by Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Egypt, which began in June 2017. Saudi Arabia has proposed the construction of the Salwa Canal, which would run along the Saudi-Qatar border, effectively turning Qatar into an island. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Watchzilla and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.